All right, we are now live. Let's go ahead and this. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. All right, you ready? You ready to roll it?
Let's rock and roll, brother.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for listening to Drunkscussions podcast. Whatever time you're listening to this, I feel a lot better today. And today I am joined with Jake. Jake, welcome back to the podcast again. We love having you on, of course. My name's Connery. What are you drinking on, Jake?
Well, we're rocking with a little bit of a little screwdriver here. Got the Finlandia vodka from the Motherlands and some good old high pulp orange juice. What about you, my friend?
High pulp orange juice. You just said that?
Yeah,
You got a chunky screwdriver?
I
Ooh,
guess so.
that's like people that do the
Hey, man, I used to do
shots of
Sunny
milk.
D, and that is like the most sugary shit you could possibly find.
That's a Hanover.
So,
That is a
yeah,
Hanover. Um,
exactly. At least
so
this way I'm hydrating. I'm getting some vitamin C. Stay healthy.
every time this comes out, I indulge myself. It is the so normally Sprite back in the day they came out with the cranberry Sprite, and it's around winter time. I fucking love it. But Canada Dry came out with a cranberry ginger ale, and I figured that would pair nicely with some vodka. So I am going to be nursing one of these tonight, a cranberry vodka ginger ale. So,
Would you like a Sprite cranberry?
uh,
Wise words of LeBron.
yeah, I back in the day, I used to really enjoy. There was a Boston police or a Boston PD guy that I used to work with in the car business, and he got me hooked on gin and cran. And originally, when he ordered it, I looked at him. This is the same guy who said he told me all these undercover stories while he was in Boston. He told me all these stories, gruesome fucking stories, and he just was like nodded his head, like kind of chuckles every now and then. I'm like, you're a fucked up, demented person. Love the guy though. I did 100-mile bike rides with him all the time. He was a cool dude. And the first time he ordered this gin and cran, I was like, that is a very. He was like, you're about to say a pussy drink, aren't you? And I was like, well, I wasn't going to say that. And he was like, it's actually really good. He was like, here, I'll order you one. And we drank them. We probably had 5 that night. We both had to have our wives, my girlfriend at the time, pick us up.
Drop
Like
you
we were
home. Yeah.
fucking trash. We were at the Jug, the brown jug, or the
Oh,
Delaware
no
jug.
kidding.
Yeah.
Right, that was actually yesterday. I did a little bit of horse gambling, a
Did
little bit of
you?
betting.
You went to the
Yeah, I
jug?
lost. I threw away $50. That's what I'm trying to say.
Is it
But
still kind of like the bar everyone kind of all the old decrepit cigarette smoking guys go to?
I thought you meant the like the actual race, the Little Brown
Oh,
Jug.
no, no, no. There is
No, I know the restaurant out on the west side of town.
yeah, that little bar. That's a cool
They
place.
actually have really good barbecue
They
on
do.
Saturdays.
They have good food.
I go for the barbecue.
Also, the pool atmosphere is pretty fun. You always end up getting a whiskey tango in there that tries stirring stuff up. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But with that being said, hey, let's go ahead and roll that intro, and then we'll hop into the podcast. Cheers.
Roger that. Cheers, brother.
What happened was we got caught up in a drunk discussion, and then he burned the bacon.
Where we talk about everything and know nothing.
You know what I mean? So it kind of seems like a win-win-win.
Here's Gerald.
Telling everybody I'm dead.
Just draw a dick on it. It's not offensive. It's a dick. Everyone's got a dick nowadays.
Dude, tell me more, because I don't know anything about it.
Oh, a flapper's a 1920s dancer, you motherfucker.
Got a lot of bagels. I like my bagels. Chug 30.
Cheers. Salud. I mean, this shit's free, right? Monday morning. Chime on in.
Tranquility Base here.
Discussions.
The Eagle has landed.
And we are back. So for everyone that's listening on the podcast, you can find us wherever podcasts can be found, of course. But if you want to watch us live, kind of see what we look like, interact with us, ask us questions during the podcast, you can always tune in on Twitch every single Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We love having people hop in here. And of course, the little bickering back and forth, it's always a good time. But with that all being said, it's been 2 weeks? How you doing? Anything
Yeah,
happy?
it's been a couple of weeks. Oh yeah, man. Built a new PC. Been enjoying that.
What are you playing?
Great. Got the new Modern Warfare 2 beta. Getting my ass kicked a little bit in that.
Yeah.
But,
Logan and I,
yeah.
we've been playing that today. So after this, we'll hop on and play a
Oh,
few
yeah.
rounds. I'm sure Logan will end up
It's
joining later.
sweaty. It is sweaty.
So what was it? Right when the beta came out, was that all the people that pre-released were able to play it. I was just watching streamers play it, and I was like, oh, is this going to be another flop? Did Activision and Blizzard really fuck this one again? There was a lot of bugs, and there were like black screen issues, UI issues where it would go to like a kill cam and you'd spectate it, and all of a sudden it would flash like crazy and a UI window would pop up. But I hopped on it today. It was a fucking blast. It really brought back the old like Call of Duty vibes, just playing on Xbox when I was a kid. I was like, man, this is so much fun. It's so fast paced. Everything was very fluid. It was a fun game. I love the maps. You can actually utilize being a sniper now, which back in the day you weren't really able to do. You could do it, but there wasn't any rooftop access or building access to the extent that they have now with a lot of the maps. And dude, we were
So I
smoking
mean,
people.
I've been enjoying it a lot. I know a lot of my buddies that play a lot more Call of Duty than me have been bitching, but I mean, I play a lot of tactical shooters. I like Insurgency, I like Tarkov, and the faster gunplay, all that stuff. It's been fun, and I love screaming at random kids in the post game screen.
Yeah, normally when I'm playing, I'm usually chatting with you guys in Discord, but if I'm going to do some solo rounds, I'm definitely going to troll some kids.
Bro, they need to keep the lobbies together so I can properly talk shit. I need to know you so I can properly talk shit to somebody.
Yeah, they
I
always
can't
mix it
just
up.
scream at you for 10 seconds. That's not gonna sting.
They switch it up quite a bit. No, I'm loving Modern Warfare 2. If you guys haven't checked it out, I definitely would. What type of PC did you end up building?
Yeah, so I ended up it's a do you just want like the build?
Might as well
Stuff to
drop the
build?
specs.
Yeah, so I got what I was rocking with before was a 1660 Super, a GTX 1660 Super, and a Ryzen 5 3600, which was good for like 1080p. I mean, I was maybe pulling like 90 frames on Warzone before.
Yeah.
So now I'm rocking with a Ryzen 7 5800X and a 3070 Ti. Not all out, but I definitely put some money into it and saving for a little bit, and it is an absolute monster. It feels like jumping from Xbox to PC for the first time. Because now I'm on 1440. I'm probably pulling about 170 to 190 frames per second. It is a monster.
What type of monitor are you rocking right now?
So it's actually an Acer. It wasn't what I was gonna get. I was gonna get the Asus Tough Gaming 1440p 170 hertz.
Yeah.
But I was talking to the guy at Micro Center, and this Acer, I wish I had the product number in
Right.
front of me so I
Yeah.
can tell you guys. But it is. Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Just quickly
I want to.
pull this bitch up.
Yeah, Asus VA24E. That's what you're looking for, or Acer. I'm sorry.
So
But regardless, it's the same panel as the Tough Gaming, the same exact parts, but it was about 30% cheaper.
hey, that's a fucking
Kind of a
win.
no-brainer. I mean, it's awesome.
So
It's been a lot of fun.
you're not having any like screen tearing. It's super smooth. Everything just refresh
Dude,
rate.
it's nuts. It's nuts, man. Like jumping from what I was using before to this was a huge step up. I'm excited to actually, once this beta's over, I want to go back and play some like single player games and turn on ray tracing and all that stuff and make them all sexy and see what it's all about.
hop on GTA 5 and just download a whole bunch of mods in 4K and just see what your computer
I'm gonna
can
see
handle.
if I can blow it up. We're gonna load up Minecraft and we're gonna get the hyper realistic shit going on. We're gonna see. I'm gonna make a bomb on my desk.
How's Sims 4 running on it?
Sims 4, Abby is loving it.
Yeah,
She's getting my old PC. It's sitting in a cardboard box right next to me. I'm waiting for her to clear her desk off so I can hook it up for her, and then this will just be my dedicated PC.
So this was a full fresh build. You didn't just have an old case. You're just replacing components. It's full fresh.
I literally called Paul Monday because I didn't work Monday for the rain, and then I was looking at my bank account and I'm like, yeah, I think it, and I was looking at the prices. I'm like, I think it's about time. I'm like, Paul, you want to come to Micro Center with me? He's like, fuck yeah. So we went down there and I was like, you know what? We're doing a full fresh build today. Let's make it happen.
If I could drop 3 bands real quick, there's this Omen PC. It's Intel, but it's a 12.9 or what?
Build it, bro. Build it. If I got this same spec PC pre-built, I would have paid $4,500. I paid $2,000 for all the parts, and you just put it together yourself.
I don't know. My cable
If you
management
lived in
skills-
Ohio, I would just do it for you. I love building PCs.
the past 3 PCs I've built. It's just now I really enjoy having I don't know. Being able to click a button, customize everything I want, having laser etching engraved into it, all that fun stuff, and I wait 14 days and it pops at my door and I just plug and play.
That's
Kind of,
fair.
I like doing that. It's sort of like mowing your lawn. I have a nice lawnmower now, but as I'm getting older and I just had my appendix taken out, I'm like, fuck,
I don't want to mow my fucking lawn.
it takes me 2 hours, and I'm like, is it cheaper to just pay somebody $50 a week to
You
just?
can pay somebody $50. They come out, they smoke a couple darts while they're here, get it knocked out in 30 minutes, and they head on their happy way.
Yeah, I mean, you're a landscaper.
That is the game plan every time I show up.
Yeah, we've got I don't even, what is it, Hurricane Ian on its way right
Is
now.
that what they're calling it?
I think so.
Hurricane Ian.
I haven't looked at the actual models recently, but I think we're supposed to be getting 120 to 155 mile an hour winds
I
come.
want you to take a video. I remember seeing this video on TikTok forever ago of a guy in a hurricane with an American flag out there and his fucking skippies just out in the wind. I'm gonna need you to make that.
I don't know,
happen.
like American flag maybe, but I'm thinking, okay, if I'm gonna tune to the masses right now, what can I really like? What flag could I put out there? I don't want to do a political flag, right? I don't want to do a Trump flag. I don't want to do a Biden or whatever type of flag. But I mean, I could probably do like LGBTQ flag or something like that. That right there would stir things up in Florida. Holy smokes!
Especially Florida, man. DeSantis would be rolling.
He'd be like, "Oh my God, we were."
What's wrong with these people?
I'm where I live. Fuck. Where I live, I wanted to before the hurricane hits, I went around to the entire block, right? And I went around on my bike and I just started introducing myself to these people because having that connection with your neighbors, I didn't realize how useful it actually is until, a apocalyptic storm comes. But I went
A
over
life or death situation. Hey, nothing brings people together more than an extremely difficult and dangerous situation.
like 9/11. Oh, how's your chunky screwdriver?
So I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't drank vodka in years until my girlfriend's birthday like 2 days ago.
Mhm.
And I just started making mixed drinks and I was throwing them down, having a good time. I have not felt that fucking hungover in years. So every time I take a sip of this, it just reminds me of my future if I don't hold back a little bit.
What tomorrow morning is going to bring. I remember, what was it, the last time you and I were on? We watched the Ferguson Diaz fight, and
That
then
was a good time.
the next day, dude, I haven't been that hungover in a minute.
Bro, I think I literally threw down like after I think I had like 3 or 4 beers during the podcast, and I'm pretty sure I polished off the rest of the 12 pack.
Yeah, I finished
By
a
the time
12
the
pack.
Diaz fight.
I finished off a
Those
12
were some
pack,
good fights though.
and then for
good
some reason,
fights.
those guys kept coming into the channel. We were watching it legally, and
I
people
paid
were
for it.
hopping
I
in.
paid for it. Don't get Dana White in here. We don't need that smoke.
Yeah. I mean, I chipped in too, but I lost a few bets, right? So I had to pay out. And then
They just
basically,
capped.
basically, I was taking shots of vodka throughout the night, and I didn't go to bed till like what 2:30 in the morning, and then
Yeah.
I had to wake up at 8 because I got a baby. Oh, that was a rough day. I think I'm still drunk waking up.
Yeah, that was me. Friday morning, I showed up to mow lawns, still pretty drunk by the time noon rolled around. I was all sweaty. A customer came out and talked to me, and I think they knew that I had been like drinking the night before because I was probably just sweating out pure vodka. I probably smelled atrocious.
Oh.
They're just looking at me like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "I am not feeling the best this morning."
Do you see my complexion? Do I look okay? I am green.
You
It's
look
not
right, man.
it's not the grass sticking to my face. I'm probably gonna fucking hurl.
Oh, I did.
Oh, those are the worst. How many people do you have working for you? Is it just you and
So, I mean, I've cut back a lot in the spring and early summer when I had like a lot of college and high school kids. I was running 2 to 3 crews. The landscaping crews would be 6 to 7 guys deep, and the mowing crews I always roll one guy, it's just 2 guys basically on a mowing crew. Right now, I have like 2 or 3 guys rotating in, but it slows down a lot in the fall. There's a
Yeah.
lot of work. We just don't have help.
No, I get it. What's so you have like people that are still in school type of deal. That's why it kind of slows down. They have to go back. Yeah.
That's kind of the ideal employee, somebody who's like 18, 19, doesn't have a bad back, and just wants to make some money.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Go mulch, buddy.
I've got my neighbor, he's got 3 kids and they've became really close, and this little guy, I love him to death. He's so much fun to hang out with. I go bike riding with him. Today we were playing soccer in the yard next, in my side yard, and they came over because I had my appendix taken out. I'm not really able to like do anything that's too bumpy or vigorous, and I've got. You probably heard of the like Ryobi electric mowers.
Yeah.
No,
Do you have the ride-on or
Yeah.
just the push motor guy?
I have
Ride-on?
both.
How is that?
There's no suspension, right? So there's no.
Can you buy a suspension seat for it?
I'm sure I could, but
They don't help that much. I'm gonna be honest with
I
you.
was gonna say, what's it? I live on a little over half an acre. I mean, it's not like I have too big of a yard to care about.
You'll
But,
be alright. You'll be alright.
it's fucking fun. I mean, it's quiet, right? As long as the blades aren't on, that it's like a golf cart. It's got like a top speed of 8 miles an hour, not fast at all. But it
So
kept
funny story with those
Yeah,
little Ryobi guys. Oh yeah, they're nice. When I worked at Home Depot, which was like my winter-ish job, like I worked there year round during college, and that's when those Ryobi mowers first came out, and I was part of the team that got to build them for the first time. So I was just putting them all together. But being at Home Depot at 3 a.m, we all had the bright idea of let's race these fuckers. So we set up a track around the Home Depot in Powell, and like one night for like 2 or 3 hours, we just held races on the fucking Ryobi mowers.
fucking.
There's skid marks all over the floors. The manager comes in the morning like, "What was going on here?" I was like, "Oh, we had to test out the mowers, make sure they were running good."
So you know how Home Depot has their outside section? That's where they keep all their like built mowers, the ride-on mowers.
Yeah.
And I was talking to the Ryobi rep, and I was like, "Hey man, what's with all these mowers? They have rust on the screws already." And he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. We'll give you a discount if you want to go ahead and buy a floor model." I was like, I don't know, man. And he was like, "Just go to the register and say, hey, I said I could give you a discount." Apparently, a Ryobi rep's not allowed to do that. Anyways, so I escalated. It was like 30.
Need the CEO of Home Depot right now.
I think it was $3,200 for this mower, and I ended up like doing a shift on him, and I found one that had no rust on it. It was like sparkling brand new, nothing on the
Fresh out the box.
runtime. Yeah, and I pull it up to the register, and I'm like, "Hey, the Ryobi rep said since this is it's got a few rusts and things, it's been sitting out there a while, that I could get a discount." And she was like, "Oh, we can't do that." I was like, "Well, look, I understand, but he told me."
Yeah.
Threw it all on
Saying
him.
Yeah.
I $3,200 lawnmower I got for like $2,700. I was like, $500
That's a good
savings.
deal.
Yeah.
It's a good deal.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
cool
yeah.
though. It even comes with like this little battery pack thing. You mount onto your wall, it plugs in, and it's just like a Tesla. You stroke the little plug-in charger on the back end of this thing and just plug it in. I love it. I really do love that lawnmower. It is for being
It's so funny for me with like the line of work I'm in and the equipment that I deal with, going and looking at the residential mowers.
Mhm.
Because I mean, my mowers, I didn't get them retail price. I think I paid $12,500 for them, but they retail right now for $16,000.
Yeah, no, you have a fucking Honda Civic
Well-
with blades.
Literally, they weigh the same. It's got a 40 horsepower motor, so what's the fucking difference?
Yeah, goes 20 miles an hour and you're just zipping
It
and zagging.
literally does. It has a second gear for transporting, and it goes 18.5 mile an hour. They're fucking quick.
Dude.
They're monsters.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the little Ryobi is the perfect suburban white dude lawnmower, and with the hurricane coming, we went to Home Depot. Oh, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, we went to Home Depot, and I was like, "All right, I got to drop a band to get a generator." We don't have a generator. We have Lauren's. I'm not gonna say that. Anyways, we have a lot of tit milk. She produces great amount of milk. The problem is we've got a stack full freezer. I know I'm gonna lose power for up to 3 days, right?
And a
And
Jenny.
I ended up buying a Jenny, about a 6,500 watt generator. I figured it's good enough.
Honda, or what brand you get?
You're gonna fucking hate me, bud. Ryobi.
Bro, it does. I'm pretty sure. Does it have the Briggs and Stratton motor or the Honda motor? Doesn't matter what brand makes it. Matters what motor's in it. I'm sorry. I used to sell these fucking things. I worked
have
in the
no
garden
idea.
department. I know everything there is to know about this shit.
It's a brand new generator. All I know is
and it'll fucking work.
I put the motor oil in it. I put in gas. It started right up. I was like, that fucking, hey, doesn't matter to me. I bought 20 gallons of
Can't
gas.
complain.
I'll tell you what, though, these panic buyers down here during this hurricane, fucking hilarious. I love every bit of the panic people suffer right now. It makes me, it's a bad thing to accept, right? You're like, there's something serious coming, right? We know we're gonna get hit, and if we don't get a direct hit, we're still getting the back end of the bends, which is the worst part of a hurricane, and that's where all the tornadoes are at. That's where the high winds are at, and that's where
Oh, word.
the restrictions at, and heavy rain, and the amount of panic that's going on. I went to Publix today, and there was this old woman crying, full on temper tantrum over not being able to buy 4 cases of water.
Oh my lord.
She said, I'm having a party tonight. Doesn't that mean something? And the fucking Publix employee looks at her and said, that's not my job to care. I was like, thank you for standing up to this woman.
What an outstanding citizen to not give a shit about her party.
I ended up leaving the line I was in. I was like, I don't care if I have to wait. I'm talking to this Publix employee. So I pull up. I'm like, is there anything I can do to make your day better? And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, I heard that. I was like, I know how you feel right now. And she was like, the fact you recognize that just makes me feel better. And I was like, I appreciate this interaction. And I was like, there we go. But dude, the panic. All gas stations within like a 5-mile radius of me completely out of gas right now.
Really? How many people have left town? Is it like obvious, or a lot of people are going to try to hold out? Because it's like, what, Cat 3, Cat 4? It's a big boy.
It's going to be a Cat 4.
It's going to be a big boy.
I say that this is live. It doesn't really quite matter too much. It could be a Cat 2. It could be a Cat 3. Most likely, it's going to go north a little bit, and that's going to be a lot of fresh, untouched for this season Gulf water, which is super hot. It's going to supercharge the fuck out of that storm. It's going to be a big motherfucker. Anything on the east or anything on the west coast of Florida, it's going to get nailed. Tampa's going to feel it. Southwest Florida's going to feel it. I think it's ending. I don't want to eat my own words here. I'm not a meteorologist, but I have a good feeling that cold front that's coming down. I mean, you guys are about to get snow, right? Or South Ohio is about to get a little bit of snow, but that cold front.
They're fucking not.
Yeah, that cold front though is pushing that down a little bit, which could push it further east, which will hit the west coast. I don't know. It's gonna hit.
It sounds like it's gonna be gnarly.
It's gonna be fun. I have vodka. I bought a keg. I was like, let's buy a mini keg. So I bought a little tiny keg of Heineken. I was like, let's ride this out. Let's have some fun.
Right. Ride it out. Is Lauren and the baby staying down there with you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you asked that question, like leaving. So evacuations, a lot of people around here are thinking maybe we'll get with a Cat 2. A lot of people don't leave for a Cat 2 because it's basically any other night here, right? I mean, we get storms every fucking night, high winds, all that. Yes. The reason why I say that is you brought up Lauren and Delaney. We were thinking about flying them up to Ohio because originally my in-laws were supposed to come down here, stay a little bit, help with everything around the house, and then stay for a week. Well, with all this, they canceled all that. So I said, okay, why don't you just fly up there, stay up there for 2-3 weeks? I'm gonna be busy no matter what. Like the moment the storm hits, I'm gonna be working 24/7. It's my job, helping with hurricane effort, helping with tarping jobs, helping. That's what I do. So I was like, let's just send you up there. Well, if she was to fly out Monday, it would have cost $560 a one-way trip. Oh, the dogs are barking.
Sheesh.
Normally, that's a $120 flight, but they're marking it up.
You fly Allegiant, you're paying $75.
And they're marking it up because people are like, oh, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge. I was like, those cunts. We waited 30 minutes to figure out if this is something we were wanting to do, and the flights were all sold out. Like there's no flights really that we could find to get her out of here. So I looked at her and I said, we're going to ride this out. So I went ahead and, this Sunday, we're going to go ahead and tape the windows. We're going to put up the shutters. I've already got the lawn mowed, everything strapped down. I've got all the furniture off the back patio. I know I'm going to lose a lot during this storm if it hits. Like I'll probably end up losing my truck. Because it's too big to fit in the garage. I'm gonna park.
Even if it's in the garage, your first story is gonna get fucked.
We don't have 2 stories.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's super uncommon.
Well, it depends on how close you are to the coast as well. I don't know exactly where your place is located. So
I am less than a mile from the coast. Like I live.
Okay. I don't know because my aunt and uncle they live near you on Pine Island, and they just built a house.
They're gonna get fucked.
They're gonna get fucked. But theirs is all 2-story. Like they don't have anything on the first story except for a garage, like a little landing area, and like the outdoor grill and the pool.
Their house is on stilts, right?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
stilts, and
Uh,
it's tall. It's tall. So
so
I mean, that's how they were all built.
technically, I won't have to worry about storm surges, but I did build my house on a 7-core stem wall, which means I have 7 cinder blocks below
Mm.
the ground, right?
Okay.
So I'm on basically my house is the highest house in
Yeah,
our
on Little
neighborhood.
Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the highest house in the neighborhood. I was like, I know flooding is the biggest concern I have here. So
Yeah.
right now my house sits like 23 feet above sea level, which is great. Everyone else is sitting around the 15 mark. So I'm doing good. I'm not worried about flooding. I'm not worried about the storm surge because Pine Island does separate where I'm from the Gulf.
Yeah, it's like a little break. It's at that very edge of that intercoastal type area,
Yeah.
from what I understand. No, yeah, they're fucked. They're on the west coast of Pine Island, and the only thing between them and the Gulf is a little mangrove.
Pine
That's it.
Island floods every single day, anyways, just from standard rain. Every single field out there, most trees are going to be snapped. Dude, Pine Island always gets fucking nailed during hurricanes. They'll be
I
fine.
know they're up here. No, they're up here. They have a house in Ohio
Oh.
too, so they're not really stressing about it. It's just more how much are they going to lose?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Most of my neighbors are all up north right now. Like I met this guy named Chris who used to be like a Michelin star chef, retired, and he was like, if you ever want a big old deal on steak, lobster, clams, you let me know. I was like, serious? And he was like, no, seriously, I could buy them wholesale for you, and then you just pay
Oh
me.
yeah.
It's like, fuck yeah, dude. He was like, and it
You
every
go to the buy house, and there's a ton of shit.
the guy behind me, his name's John. He's kind of cool dude. You know, he's just old. You know, from New York, kind of got that New York douchebag about him. Don't mind John. He's a cool dude, but he definitely has gossip because Chris, guy I just met, never met him before, was like, "You just had a kid, right?" Like, yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, "I'll come over and cook for you." I was like, "Oh, that's nice." He was like, "You play games?" I was like, "Video games?" And he was like, "Card games. Do you play like Bunko or Jenga?" I was like, "You get anything in me, I'll play it." I was like, "We'll have fun drinking, you know,
Play
playing
some games, hang out.
Neighbors around
Why
here
the
are pretty
hell not?
cool. I'm a little nervous about this hurricane though. Not gonna lie, a little nervous.
You'll be all right. I believe.
It's only the worst thing about a hurricane is not the hurricane itself; it's the fucking aftermath, the cleanup, the driving, just
Everything's fucked.
everything's
Weeks or
fucked.
months.
And most people don't. So I went up basically the day after Hurricane Michael happened, and I was there for 8 months to help out. Most people don't realize this, but within a month, the smell
All the
throughout
sea life that comes over and all the dead shit everywhere.
all the dead animals, all the debris just rotting. The smell is so fucking grotesque. I can't handle it.
So what do you guys do with the debris? Do you just like bring in skid steers and dump trucks and just load them up, take it to the fucking landfill?
We have phenomenal property taxes that we pay, and we just put that shit on the side of the road and somebody comes and picks it up for us. Large item pickup, debris pickup. Like I had a tree that died. I planted 3 trees and one of them didn't make it. So I just pulled it out of the ground. I threw it off to the side and within 2 hours, somebody came and picked it up. I was like, oh, dope.
I guess it's what you get what you pay for, right?
Yes. Man, this is hitting.
You'll be all
hitting
right.
good. Cheers,
Oh,
everyone.
yeah.
Cheers. For the podcast listeners, doesn't really matter. We're gonna end up putting out content anyways. But for the live, since I do all the hosting, we'll see how Saturday goes next week. But you know, we'll make it happen, Captain. As long as I don't lose my fucking house, we're gonna have a stream. So
He will be doing his stream on top of a little 14-foot John boat in the river that is now his street.
I looked at my daughter today and I was like, honey, everything the sky touches is going to be yours one day. It may be underwater though. And
It might be underwater for a short time.
yeah, it's pour myself a drink. No idea how this is going to go. It's my first hurricane I've actually sat through. I've sat through a few tropical storms, but those are nothing. Those are fun because you can go jump in giant puddles that formed in your yard. But we'll see how this goes. Hey, you know football more than I do, right?
Somewhat. I'm not as well versed as I used to be, but
Do you know this whole thing that's going down with the charity scandal with the quarterback?
it's Mr. Favor. Yeah. So, from what I understand, and I don't know if it's specifically the charity thing, but Mr. Brett Favre, the former governor of Mississippi, and a lawyer were all found to be stealing funds from the welfare fund for Mississippi. I don't know where the funds were allocated to. I know the main one I've heard about was they built a new volleyball coliseum on Mississippi State or Southern Miss, one of those two. Wherever Favre went to school, his daughter is now playing volleyball there, and they used that money to build a new volleyball stadium. Regardless, Mr. Favre is stealing welfare money from one of the poorest states in the fucking U.S.
So Brett Favre, he has a net worth, right, of $100 million, $20 million salary. He also has other sources of income from the NFL endorsements, other business, real estate, things like that. Why the fuck does he need to be just stealing money from charities? Like, I would imagine
85% of former NFL players end up going broke, right? It wouldn't be surprise me if he is actually very cash poor. He might have a good net worth, but he's probably cash poor.
God, it's disgusting that not even just celebrities, but people in general. Like, you're taking from a charity. I'm huge into charities. I love donating to charities. I help out a lot with charities, and homeless people. Yeah, yada yada. Anyways, the fact that you have the ability to make in 1 year more than most people that are needing that charity will make in their lifetime, and you're like, I'm just gonna go ahead and take off a little bit, and they won't notice. That's a sick human being.
Oh, I agree. No, it's disgusting that he's doing this, especially, I mean, you shouldn't be taking from a fucking welfare fund. And the governor that approved of this and the lawyer and slash CPA that made this all happen so they could embezzle the funds, they should be charged and convicted of whatever is due. I mean, I don't know what that entails because it's split different ways, but it's something else, man. I don't know where in his right mind you would think that this is like, oh yeah, this is fine.
This is normal. We'll just let it happen.
Normal. We'll just take $20 million off the top. What are they gonna know?
So shitty. Let me ask you this. So do you think the death penalty should be a little bit more lenient?
I don't know if this one justifies the death penalty, but in general, yes.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying, stealing. Stealing is one thing, right? Slap on the wrist, not being able to vote, felony, house parole, whatever, for a while. I think we definitely... I saw this TikTok video, and the reason why I brought this up is there was this guy that was chumming water with a wood chipper. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, he took chunks of, bait, right? Bait.
And just threw them in the wood chipper.
And it shot it out all over his dock, or out of his dock, and he was just getting a whole bunch of fish coming up to it because it was shooting at fucking 30 feet. For some reason, after I watched that video, the first thing I thought of was like pedophiles.
I don't know where the lines got dotted there, but yeah, pedophiles should all be murdered.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I feel like that's the most disgusting crime you could ever do.
I looked at my daughter. I was like, man, I would literally murder.
I mean, there are
grotesque if anyone fucked with her.
I remember hearing a story of a guy in Texas where his daughter unfortunately had a situation like that happen, and he went out and whacked the guy. There was in broad daylight, and the judge let him walk. He was like, "Okay, what's fair is fair." But then, if you were to do that same thing in Oregon, the guy who murdered the pedophile would be in jail for life.
I can't remember. It was just an article that I quickly brushed over. I saw the headline basically, but it was some woman lost like a lawsuit for $350,000 for killing the person that raped her. Because
are you serious?
The problem is she killed him in self-defense while she was being raped. The problem is because nobody witnessed it and she didn't have enough substantial evidence to support it in court, she ended up losing that lawsuit.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
What?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, there's a reason there are rape kits. I mean, it's pretty obvious that what was going on if she murdered and not murdered. Just that's in self-defense, Do
you think that's going to be... I don't know if it'll ever be like that I don't even want to talk about that section. Let's just move off of rape.
Hey, you brought that up.
You brought up rape kits, and I'm like, man, do you think it's going to be like first aid kits from now on? They're just going to be casually under your fucking
I mean, I fucking
kitchen
hope
sink.
not. That's usually something that has to be done at the doctor. But I mean,
I got Narcan.
you know what's even more disgusting is that you actually have to like think about that in a way of like, do you have to carry one of these on your person at all times so you can win a court case if that happens to you?
Fuck,
That's
isn't
even
that
worse.
that is a deep, dark slope, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
It fucking
It
sucks.
is. The people. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, the people that commit those acts are the most heinous and should be.
The problem is,
They should. Those are the people that deserve the death penalty. Because if I mean, it's been proven if you do that type of stuff once, it's gonna happen again. Look at the fucking Deshaun Watson, the quarterback for the Browns now. 26 or what is it? 66 different allegations of sexual, not assault, but just sexual imposition on women. Goes to get a massage, his towel happens to fall off. Like, like no, dude. Like you're clearly up to something if this has happened 66 fucking times.
so backstep 20 years, right?
Bro.
Shift,
Yeah.
shift your thinking 20 years. America's sweetheart was Bill Cosby, a guy who could do no wrong, right?
Bill Cosby soft drinks.
And then, yeah, well, he's going to make her sleepy. Fucking hell. Somehow we're still on this topic. Do you think you back put yourself into modern days time? Do you think there's American Sweetheart that is going to probably come out? Like,
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure that there are more people than we know about that are in very powerful positions that could very easily slide that under the rug.
oh yeah, by the way, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. Like, it does seem kind of weird though that you had the whole Jolene Maxwell case. Nothing really came out of it other than she was sentenced, right? And
She's still in jail, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think she's in jail.
From what I heard, she's at like the lowest security prison and is doing like. I remember watching. I think it was a Joe Rogan podcast recently where they were talking about it, and like she's not like and like if you like the crimes that she was committing with the people she was associated with, you'd imagine she's in what's pretty much Guantanamo Bay, right? No, she has television, internet, cell phone, doing yoga, probably got a brand new Xbox, brand new gaming PC.
She's playing Modern Warfare 2 before us
right now.
Yeah,
And she's a fucking corner camper. I want you to think about that.
wait. Let's come up with it. What do you think Janine Maxwell's gamer tag is?
Epstein probably killed himself.
Island Daddy.
Island boy.
I'm an island boy. I didn't hang myself is probably her gaming tag.
Probably.
Oh man, I wish I was smarter so I could come up with funnier shit right on the spot. You know,
I would. Yeah, I need prep time.
I need prep time to come up with this
I
shit.
need prep time, bro.
Give me a script. Yeah, her gamer tag is big booty bitches under 18.
Under 18,
oh,
strictly.
oof.
I don't know, man. That whole thing is just so disgusting. But yes, pedophiles, death sentence approved. I approve.
So we now know though that this all exists. It wasn't really mainstream until
And nobody did anything about it. We never got the black book, even though we know it exists.
we know the people that were on the planes.
Yeah, none of them ever got questioned about anything. A lot of those are some very, very powerful people that are in your government, that are running your TV shows, that are doing basically programming the minds of whoever's watching their shit.
You want to know something fucking stupid? Ohio.
Yeah. Is that it?
No. Is basically owned by a guy named Lex Wexner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You have the Wexner Medical Center. The Wexner Medical Center is basically owned or donated by Lex Wexner. But he also owns Bath and Body Works, Abercrombie and Finch, Abercrombie
All the L
Kids,
brands, limited brands,
L
all that
brands, all these Victoria's Secret. He owns all of those companies. His accountant, his CFO, the guy who managed all of his books, you know who that was?
Mr. Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein. Isn't that fucking weird? And
What a wonderful coincidence that Ohio also happens to be the #1 state in the entire country
for sex trafficking,
only followed by Florida.
I'm not surprised by Florida. We have Miami.
Well, Florida, I mean, you got Miami. You're also on the coast everywhere. I think third is New York with the Finger Lakes, which, if you know anything about Hunter Biden, that's literally tattooed on his fucking back.
Wait, go into detail on that. What do you mean? What?
Finger Lakes. So the Finger Lakes is an area of lakes in the northeast part of the United States. I think it's mostly in New York. Known as a hotbed basically of like sex trafficking. There's a lot of kidnappings, disappearances. They know that there is a ton of sex trafficking there. Hunter Biden has that tattooed on his back. So, and if you read into what was on his laptop, I can send you a podcast where the guy who ran the PC shop that had his laptop actually looked through the hard drives and tried reporting this shit. There was a ton of child porn on those fucking laptops, from what this guy was saying on the podcast.
So let me ask you this. What exactly is tattooed on Hunter Biden's back?
The Finger Lakes. Like if you put them on a map, it looks like kind of lakes that look like, if you can see my camera, like
Like
that.
a finger.
Yeah, and it's on his back, like right there. If you put them on a map and you were to like isolate them from all the roads and shit, it looks like that.
So if you were Hunter Biden and you're like, I'm gonna get a tattoo, why the fuck would you do that?
This is also the man that had a video on Twitter a month ago of him smoking crack naked in a sensory deprivation tank. So,
Look, I hope and I wholeheartedly believe that my daughter won't be the next Cash Me Outside girl.
Bad Barbie.
But at the same time, if she's financially wise about it, like the Cash Me Outside girl who's now a multi-millionaire, I'm going to kind of let a few things slide. But
at what point do you abandon all your morals for financial gain?
I'm not going to be a president, though, which means I'll let my morals slide. Like, if she's financially successful and she's like, hey, mom, dad, you guys are the reason why I'm like I am, I'm going to...
So if 18 or 19 years from now she says, hey, guys, I'm making $500,000 a year, you're like, hey, that's awesome. What are you doing? OnlyFans. And you're not going to be disappointed?
No, I don't think I will, because it's her body. And if she's an adult, she's able to do that. I don't see that being an issue. At the same time, I definitely am creating an account on Feet Finder because I have aesthetically really good looking feet. So I'm gonna just shave them up a little bit. I
got troll feet. Do you think there's a market for troll feet, like hairy ass, ugly troll feet?
Yes, there is. There is a fetish for. If there's one thing I have fucking known about living in Florida, is there's a fetish for everything. You could be fat, you can be ugly, you could have. There's people attracted to moles on your rectum. There's people attracted to moles around your areola. If there's one thing I know, you can have the ugliest fucking cooch or dick in the world, and there's a fetish for that, and people will look at it and buy it. And I've got 9 toenails. There's a fetish for that. I have man feet.
Are you missing a toe, or does one just not grow back?
No, I have like my big toe on my right foot. I ended up having a soccer accident, and my toenail lodged into my bone, and it grew back really all fucking wonky. And I looked at the doctor. I said, remove this. I don't want it to grow back. Well, it grew back. And it grew back super thick. And one day I cracked it in half. And it was catching on shit. So I chugged back a bunch of Fireball, and I took a pair of pliers and I ripped out my toenail. And it started growing back. Like, what the fuck?
This is what the mob did to people for torture. You're just doing it because you thought it was just bothering you.
I have a pretty good pain tolerance.
Okay, I can share some stories.
Boy. And then I find this doctor and I said, look, I just ripped out my toenails with pliers. I don't want this shit to grow back. She said, bet. She wrapped it in fucking rubber bands. She took a hot iron, soldered, or yeah, fuck it. I don't even cauterized it. Yeah. And then she was like, guess what I'm doing next? I was like, what? She took out a bunch of acid. Then she chemically cauterized it. That bitch didn't grow back. So now I got a nub.
It didn't.
I got a nub.
You got a little nubbin.
So I'm definitely getting a tattoo of a camel where my toenail used to be. It's going to be my camel toe. So when I'm an 80-year-old man and I'm at the bar, that is my conversation starter. He's like, you ever want to see a camel toe? And I just hold up my big toe.
So
look at this.
Ms. Lauren will never let you wear flip-flops around her.
She doesn't care. She doesn't give a fuck. I I think the only
She
thing.
probably thinks it's hot. She's probably part of that weird fetish you were talking about.
Oh God, I hope so.
It'd make things a lot less awkward.
Like, hey, honey, you like my nub? Shit. No, she doesn't care. The only thing she doesn't really like is when I wear my I've been really working on my legs and my calves and my ass. I've become like a gym girl in the sense of working my
Do
lower
you have
carriage.
like the fit bands? Or are you doing your like sideways crab walks and
No,
stuff?
I'm fucking leg pressing 1,200 pounds. Like
Do a
I'm
squat. Don't leg press. Do squats.
no, like my squat right now is
joking.
about 575. So
Okay.
I'm doing heavy ass weight. I've got big ass, I got thick old tree trunk thighs, and I've got well defined calves. And I've been testing it. I'm like, you know what? I grew up out in the country. I've always worn jeans, or I wore shorts that were below my knees. Fucking weird ass shorts. Now I'm wearing form fit 5-inch inseam shorts.
So you got a nut hanging out the side, is what I'm hearing.
So there's this company I really would love to be sponsored by. Is called Shinesty. Shinesty, or however you pronounce it, has the hammock for your balls. Tell you
Oh.
what, imagine being a girl, and look. This is me speaking from the heart. I have big balls. Imagine being a girl with like triple D's, big old titties, and you pull up a bra that is really good at supporting your back, being able to help your core. It takes a load off your knees, and you put that on. That's what it feels like to pull up a pair of Shinesty. You pull them up, your balls are cradled, and you're like, oh my God, the world has been lifted off of my shoulders. Gravity is no longer dragging me down. That's what it feels like to wear a Shinesty. And look, I hope they listen to this. I am a man of my word. I have bought it every single month for 2 years straight. On Christmas, I buy myself 6 pairs. I love them so much. The ones I'm wearing right now, I have a hole in them because I haven't. Those are your old pair. I still love them. With that being said, these are the best underwear to wear with 5-inch inseams. Otherwise, yes, my balls do hang out. I went on a bike ride while just wearing regular Heinz. I had a nut pop out. You ever had sun touch your nuts?
No, I honestly can't say I have.
It's uncomfortable.
That happen.
It's uncomfortable.
Yep. I've heard that it's actually really good at boosting your testosterone if you get some sun on your nuts, though.
I do believe I spread that rumor about 2 years ago. I said, hey, Paul.
And now it's viral.
I said, hey, Paul, have you ever heard about tanning your taint? He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, it boosts your testosterone levels by 300 if you go ahead and just sit outside for 15 minutes with your legs behind your head. Show it to this guy. He's like, no, you're lying. The motherfucker comes up to me. This is when we lived together. He was like, dude, it hurts really bad. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, I got a sunburn on my taint. It's like, no, you don't. And he was like, yeah, I do. I was like, bet. And he showed me. Motherfucker had a sunburn on his taint.
No.
I was like,
I'm drinking to that one. That's funny as fuck.
I said, you know, I was joking, right? I said, I ain't ever done that shit.
So this was actually like a thing that I've seen on TikTok. And vitamin D, when you absorb it through your skin, which is sunlight, does actually directly convert to testosterone or estrogen. If you're a male, it'll be testosterone, and if you're a female, estrogen. But so technically, sunning your nuts, which is the exact place where
Testosterone is produced.
Testosterone.
Yeah. That's why they say deep squats is
I'm
really
not a
good.
scientist. Yeah, deep squats. That's right. You got to drag them across the fucking floor.
Dude, I really hope when you're down here, we go to the gym together, you'll see my squat
Okay,
and you'll be like, what the fuck? My balls touch the floor. I am deep squat.
I have super good ankle mobility, so I've always been the exact same way. I always try to go ass to grass.
Ass to grass, man.
I'm not one of them quarter squatters. I'm not taking a shit in the woods.
What do you think about we were all over the fucking place tonight. If you're listening,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Dude, this is just how it goes when I'm on. Apparently, I think I just bring out the chaos.
I love it. I love it. Look, cheers.
I can roll with any conversation, so I just keep on rolling with the punches.
What do you think about Smith machine squats?
If you do them properly, they're great for quad development.
Quad isolation and development.
Exactly, strictly quad isolation development. Just like if you do an RDL on a Smith machine, it's great for hamstring and glute development.
I could never find the problem with the Smith machine RDLs is the RDL or the Smith machine never goes low enough. So most of the time I'm taking
At my gym that I used to go to, they had not like box jump box, but like something for you to
I didn't even
stand
think
on that's
about
like
that.
8 to 12 inches in the air.
Didn't even think
That
about
gives you
that.
just enough clearance for you to go down properly.
My dumb
'Cause, I
ass
mean,
has been taking 100-pound dumbbells from my RDLs, and I'll stand on a box and I'll go past my toes and then pull up. Great fucking work for for your hammies.
oh yeah, I
But
got some beefy ass hammies, bro. I used to use I was in high school RDL using like 315 for RDLs.
used to have some beefy ass hammies, man.
That's right, brother. You're
Fuck.
goddamn right, bro. Funny as hell.
Don't even know where I was going with that.
I miss the bodybuilding working out, but I can't do it anymore. I got so bored.
I worked out for the first time today in over a week. A week break.
Breaks.
And it's not just a week break. Like normally if I was to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a workout program for 9 months and then take a week break, I still do light cardio. Couldn't even do that for a week because of this. Getting your appendix
the
removed.
appendix. Fuck yeah, I'm sorry.
You get an
Yeah,
organ
get your
removed.
appendix out.
Dude, my
Yeah.
entire core shot. If I
Yeah,
sneeze,
don't push it, dog.
bro,
Take 3 to 4 weeks to get back into heavy lifting.
I'm not gonna get into powerlifting for a minute. It'll probably be 6 weeks because I mean you gotta think I'm fucking deadlifting over 600 pounds. I'm squatting over 550.
Oh, I get it. I mean, I pushed my body to the point where I was 22 with the back of a 50-year-old because I never did any like stretching or spine decompression.
I love doing that shit. That doesn't bother me right now.
It doesn't bother me either. I just work 2 jobs and I try to lift for 2 hours a day. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, I have no time to stretch. So you know what? We're going to take this Advil. We're going to throw it down with a little bit of whiskey and we're going to go to fucking bed.
I like that mentality. That is the man's mentality, man. Jesus.
Hey, man, you push through.
All right, let's see if we can stay on topic.
Should hit one topic at least.
One topic. What are we talking about?
I don't know. Well, we got Dark Brandon. We got
Dark Brandon.
NASA never wanting to go to the moon.
Let's talk about the moon. Why does NASA never want to go to the moon?
Cheese in the sky. They destroyed the technology, bro. It's just too hard to regain. Bullshit.
I think landing on the moon, no problem.
Okay, let's start here. Was the moon landing real?
Ooh.
I
mean,
know you've seen the video.
the moon landing was in what, 1982, 1984? When was the moon
It
landing?
was earlier than that.
I don't know. When was the moon landing? I'm asking my phone. 1969.
1969.
July 19th. Way sooner.
1982 is like way more believable. 1969. What was the technology of 1969? The
Ass.
Mustang. The Mustang was brand new and you could buy it for like $6. Think about that.
You kids just need to work a job for full time and you'll be able to live like me. Those cunts used to live back there.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't know. Like, fuck. I don't think it is fake. Like, the technology that they ended up being able to get footage of stuff that was not able to be replicated with the technology of the time that they had, right?
So what do you think about there not being, because I'm like, I believe the moon landing was probably real.
Yeah.
We're gonna roll with it.
That's reasonable to believe. I mean,
I think that's a reasonable assumption.
You had Armstrong.
But why was there no delay in the transmissions, like from the radio signals from Earth to there? Because they were responding instantly. They didn't cut that footage, like when they were talking to each other. Like if you watch the footage back when they're like talking to Houston, it's like instant response. Where like over that distance, radio waves would probably take out I mean, if you watch a newscast, me talking to somebody across the world, there's like probably a 5 to 7 second delay.
So I talked to somebody who was in radio about that, and he actually said they do that on purpose because they have a button that they can hit to go ahead and erase previous footage real quick to go ahead and, like, if they fuck up a word or something like that, they can quickly
like stumbling or something like that.
It's like Twitch. As I'm streaming on Twitch right now, there's about a 10-second delay on purpose. I could do an instant one, but if I for some reason
So the radio waves might actually travel that fast.
No, there's like what, a 7 to 12 second delay between the moon and here, and that's just the speed of light.
Yeah. Okay, so if that's the speed of light, radio waves are much slower than light. If that's like, I mean, that radio waves are going to be slower than sound. So I don't know
No,
about that one. That might be
no.
wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Regardless, you get what I'm trying to illustrate.
All right. Well, let's just say the moon landing's real. All right. Why?
Moon landing's real.
Why would they not want to go back there? One, it's a fucking moon. It's pretty boring. It's a desolate planet. Why are we up there in the first place? Other
It'd
than
be
just
a complete waste of money. I mean,
Yeah.
if there are no natural resources, like what we're just holding our dicks, you get some moon rocks.
You also
there's
gotta
probably
think-
nothing good in them.
financially, you got to think about NASA as it's owned by the people, right? So that is a tax-funded research development facility, right? Our taxes go to NASA. God damn, my hair is all fucked up. I'm sweaty and
You look
itchy.
beautiful, babe.
Thanks,
You look
boo.
great.
I love you. So if I was a director sitting in a chair, I'd look at them and say, what purpose do we have to go to the moon? And I would listen to these scientists and they'd be like, we can go ahead and get rocks, or we can go ahead and get dust. We could also observe dust, or we could observe rocks. And I'd sit there as a director and I say, that's fucking stupid. That financially and ethically, not ethically,
It's a terrible way. I mean,
Horrible
yeah, if that's
idea.
all that's up there.
horrible
I
idea.
yeah.
You could die. You could die going up there. What's the point? And for dust or rocks, I think it's stupid. Other planets, though, that have a viable way of being able to be terraformed, if you will, into a livable planet.
Something like Mars, where there's been evidence of ice,
Yeah.
frozen water.
Frozen water.
There's
You're like,
been evidence of water erosion. Like there's something that happened there. We don't know what.
also, I mean, you got to think about it like this. Like, you got to find a. I think it would be financially more sense for NASA to go ahead and invest into technology that could surpass our galaxy.
Previous generation. Yeah. Yeah, that too.
Find a star system that's able to go ahead and say, okay, we need to find a planet that's kind of similar to Earth, as in the same distance away from the sun, from their main star, their sun, right? So you've got a planet that has a hot and cold fluctuation because of the sun and the distance from the sun, but you also have a moon. You need a planet with a moon because that allows gravitational waves for,
Gives you the
basically
tides. It basically regulates everything.
It
keeps
regulates it.
ecosystems alive.
Exactly. It's something that allows friction to move, which means if you think about it like this, throw yourself hypothetically, this entire conversation right now is hypothetically, back bajillions of years ago. Your Earth is forming, you have oceans starting to form because of hot and cold. You have ice starting to freeze. You have atmosphere raining down. You have all these things going on, but you also have a moon that's tide is pulling things back and forth through that. Being able to one cell being able to interact with another cell, allowing an evolutionary change to happen throughout millions of years. You have a planet with no moon and there's no gravitational pull. You just have a stagnant
It's stagnant.
planet.
Yeah, nothing can change. Yeah.
So if I was NASA, if I was a director at NASA, I'd say, hey, while I drink this scotch, you go ahead and figure that the fuck out. And then, get back to me. And then
Hey, somebody smarter than myself to work on this.
and then they'd come back to me and they're like, hey, we found this. I'd be like, cool. How do we get there? There's where the money's going. And that's all I would care about. Are we doing spaceships? Are we doing teleportation? Are we doing magic? I don't give a fuck.
That's the real question: is
what
how
we're
would
doing.
because we know that those planets do exist. I mean, you can read about it online. There are at least a dozen planets that they've found within a reasonable amount of light years on spatial terms that would work. They basically create the same environment that are on Earth. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. Gravitational stuff might be a little bit fucking difficult for us. The real question is, how do we get there in a reasonable amount of time?
Right.
Or if not in a reasonable amount of time, how do we preserve our bodies and such and us in a way where we don't end up like the people on Wall-E, where we've been in space for so long we can no longer function?
So perfect. You brought up multiple scenarios where a director would sit there and say, okay, you're telling me we need to get to this place. You found a place. How are we going to get there? Is that going to be teleportation? Is that going to be space travel? It's going to be
Well,
space
when
travel?
you-
Great.
Yeah.
How are
It's
we going to
space travel,
preserve?
but wouldn't you imagine step one of perfecting that? Because that's probably where we're at this point. We've identified the planets. We know where they are at. We need to figure out how to get there. But to experiment with that technology, why wouldn't you take it to the moon? How fast can we get to the moon? We did it in what, a week there and a week back in the 60s. Can we do it in, I don't know, let's say, can we do it in 15 minutes?
Yeah, I was going to say, we
Same
should be
day.
able to do that in a
That
relative
should be
amount
like
of time.
me driving down to the Sheets store up the way and getting a case of beer. That should be the moon and back if we want to get somewhere real.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. It should be a quick puddle jump, if you will.
Yeah.
Like you hop in a little. I don't know why I said puddle jump. It's from. I think that's from Stargate. Yeah, puddle jumpers is what they're called. You hop in this little tiny ship. You enter a portal. You're there. I think there needs to be. Space travel's cool, but I know I'm gonna get some flack for this. I think NASA is kind of a waste of money.
Oh, it is. They have no incentive to further their research. All they do is they get a budget. They need to spend their budget, and that's their game.
Well,
That's what they do.
also, think about space. Fucking space itself is nothing. It is a vast emptiness that the exploration is whatever you point to, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to spend the next 7,000 years sending a ship this way. We may get
And
a
it could
radio
hit
signal
nothing.
by...
There's a significant chance that it runs into nothing
Yeah. I
till
like
the end of time.
I watched have you seen Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
So-
I love Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty just came out with season 6. Like they're still just releasing episodes each week. I got to watch the new episode after this.
I missed the last couple ones, but I keep up with it regularly.
They had this game that was Asteroid Destroyer, right? Where you're just flying around in a ship and you're shooting asteroids. But it's on this news program called Realistic Gaming or whatever. And they're like, let's set this to level 10 as realistic as possible. And they're literally just flying a ship and there's no asteroids coming at them. Because that's space. You're like, there is nothing fucking around us. And
But if you find some asteroids, there's going to be a lot of asteroids. It's gravity.
potentially there would be a lot of asteroids,
I
right?
guess there could be the one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comets and shit like that. But
Yeah.
where I was going with this is if I would completely get rid of NASA and I'd say, look, you guys have done your job. You got us into space. We've landed on a planet and we've came back from the planet. We now have private sectors that are now able to go into space and land back on our planet while saving a lot of money. That's huge. I'm talking about SpaceX. That's massive.
Yeah, I was gonna say we already kind of have that with SpaceX, and then Bezos wants in the game.
You have
I'm sure there are
Blue
countless other
Origins, yeah.
billionaires that are willing to spend every last dollar they have on that shit.
You have Blue Origins, who's like, let's look into commercial flying where people can just hop on, experience space for 5 minutes,
That's
and
the
come
new
back down.
cruise. That's the new cruise. We're gonna send you up into orbit, let you fly around for a little bit, and come back down to Earth.
Man, I know this is a branch off, and we'll do. This is the last branch off on the podcast. How great would it be to have a 0G orgy?
How would that work though? Because I mean, think about it.
Typically-
you need the gravity to create the motion. Because what I see when people flying around in zero G's, they're just kind of like, you
Yeah,
can move your arms and shit, but you're not going to be able to get into it, you know?
Well, I mean, if I'm a guy, sorry,
If you are,
I am a guy. If I'm on a bed, I'm relying on the bed to have enough bounciness to allow for the bounce back up into what I'm actively doing.
Absolutely.
In space, you don't have the little bit of like bounce, right? So it would just be a hold on. So it'd be I would imagine doggy style is probably the best position in space. But
I
with
would
that being
imagine 'cause
said,
you could like, you know,
there'd be a lot of like fluids floating around you.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
So space orgies are probably
Probably a no-go.
no go. Okay.
No-go.
Well, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. Fucking Christ. To Drunk Discussions Podcast, you guys can find us wherever podcasts can be found. You can also listen to us live on Twitch at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to grab our new merch over at the Streamlabs. You can find it over on, we've got links everywhere. Go ahead and hop in. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm Connery. Thank you guys. Peace. Let's play that outro for our Twitch listeners.
One.
So